everyone, it is Courtney here for my second weekly reading update. I will admit that this one is going to be a bit of a light one because there was an election this week, which means that I really didn't read a ton. I mostly just mindlessly scrolled through TikTok and or obsessively checked 530. So I will have some updates on some books that I finished that I talked about in my last update. But as for the books that I am currently reading, really not much. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so first book is kind of a cheat because it was a book that I bought and a book that I read. It's Sarah Anderson's Fangs. It is a graphic novel about a vampire who falls in love with a werewolf. I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but it's hilarious. It's adorable. The artwork is gorgeous, by the way. Sarah Anderson is one of my favorite Instagram comic artists. So I was super excited when she had a book coming out. It's also just as an object, gorgeous. It's a linen cover. It's got an embossed, and then it's even got embossing on the back. But yeah, oh, and the black pages. It really only took me like 30 minutes to read because it is a continuous narrative, but it's told more like a collection of strip comics. But I can't get over how much I love the artwork. It's definitely one that I'll revisit pretty frequently. So yeah, Sarah Anderson, Fangs. Secondly, I also finished the 5th season. I have not gotten the second book in the trilogy, but it does leave you on a bit of a cliffhanger. I really enjoyed this. I will say that I called the big twist pretty early on, so I was a little disappointed that I didn't get that like moment of surprise where everything kind of comes together. But it's written in such an amazingly detailed style, but it also doesn't make it super dense. It's really easy to get through. I'll be doing a full review on this one, but I'm super excited for our book club meeting here in a couple weeks, and also to finally get the rest of the trilogy and read those. So 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. So now into what I'm currently reading. The only thing that has consumed my life besides the US elections is House of Earth and Blood from the Crescent City. I don't know if this is a trilogy. I think I saw that somewhere. I don't know. Crescent Earth series by Sarah J. Maas. So as I mentioned in the last video, when I bought this for the book haul, I loved Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I like devoured those. So I decided I was going to give this one a try just on blind faith. I'm usually not a fan of modern or urban fantasy. I'm also not a super huge crime thriller novel reader, so I've been surprised by how much I've enjoyed this one. Dobby has decided he's going to join the video now. Okay, is that where you're going to lay? So I was super surprised by how much I've actually enjoyed this one. One thing I will say, when I first started reading, I kind of thought to myself, wow, this is a really interesting page texture. Like the pages feel super thin, and it didn't dawn on me until I got 100 pages into it, which is this much of the book, that this is almost a 900 page book. And so that's why the paper is so thin. It's thin so that you can actually hold it. So I know it doesn't look like much, but I'm actually almost 600 pages through this. I've read almost 600 pages this week in this book. Been trying to read 50 to 100 pages a night, and I'm just now, I think, getting to the beginning of the climax of this novel, and I've heard it ends on a heck of a cliffhanger, or some crazy stuff goes down in the last chapter. So I'm a little afraid that I'm going to have a bit of a hangover from this one until the next book comes out next year. So that's going to be a little bit of torture. So I definitely will accept any other recommendations that you have based on this novel or other Sarah J. Maas novels. I haven't read Throne of Glass. because it is YA, and I've been wanting a little more adult romance recently, if you know what I mean. So yeah, any recommendations, greatly appreciated to tide me over until the second one comes out in this series, because I can already tell I'm going to be mourning it a little bit. Now on to what I bought. Once again, cheating a little bit. I had a couple books on order that I haven't gotten in the mail yet. So what I bought is a little light. I did buy The Disaster Tourist, which I had seen on my friend Monica's Bookstagram. She's at Oxford Jane. And I'll link to her profile. But she had been talking about this one a while back, and I hadn't purchased it yet. So when I went up to my local indie bookstore, shout out to Two Friends Books, they had it. I was picking up Fangs, which is where I ordered Fangs from. And so I decided to grab this one as well, because it is a pretty slight novel. It's only, it's a little under 200 pages, which is the perfect length for me right now, especially after reading almost 900 pages of this monster. And I'm really excited because it is in translation. I love books in translation. Books in translation are super fascinating to me because I really respect translators and their ability to understand the nuances of language. So I love reading books in translation. So I'm super excited about this one. And I haven't started it yet, but like I said, after I finish The Monster of Crescent City, I am hoping to dive into this one pretty quickly. The next one that I got a little bit ago, but I hadn't talked about it yet, so I decided to throw it in. It's Kusama. It is a graphic novel about Yayoi Kusama and her life. And my friend Sophie and I got this together. And one thing that we talked about is just how fascinating it is to watch a comic artist render and represent actual, like, physical art. And so, especially something like the mirror rooms, which that's the whole point of the infinity rooms in her work, is that you see different projections of yourself. And so as a artist trying to capture something that's so volatile to the person viewing it has been super interesting. I haven't really finished all of it yet. I'm going pretty slowly just because I love the artwork style in it. And this cover is amazing. I also just love Yayoi Kusama, so I am super excited about this one. Okay, so last one I'm going to talk about is Return to Romance. It's a collection of the stories by Ogden Whitney, who you all will probably recognize from just his artwork style. He was a super interesting comic artist who mostly focused on suburban life and occasionally a little bit of romance, which is why it's called Return to Romance. So it's just a collection of some of his stories. I love his artwork style, and I haven't started this one yet, but I'm very excited to kind of see his work outside of Instagram and Tumblr and Pinterest and everywhere else that you see it on the internet. And yeah, actually read it as it was meant to be consumed. So super excited about this one. It's Return to Romance. It's edited by Dan Nadell and Frank Santoro. It does have an introduction by Liana Fink. So yeah, Return to Romance. That's all for today. Like I said, it's gonna be kind of light because there was an election, and I'm sure most of you all had as much anxiety as I did about the outcome of said election. So next week, I will definitely promise more of an in-depth video for you all, but I didn't want to break the streak 1 week into the channel. So I wanted to make sure I did actually record this update for you all. So anyway, come back on Tuesday. I'll be talking about The Factory Witches of Lowell, which actually comes out on Tuesday. So I'll be doing a little bit of a video review of that and how cute, adorable, and amazing it is on its release day. So in the meantime, like and subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram at NotSoWellRead. Thanks, y'all. Bye.